For stitch sample 3, you're going to take your 6-inch square, fold it in half, and then you'll finger press it. And then you end up with 1 folded edge and 3 raw edges. Along the raw edges, you're going to first put in a zigzag stitch. To do that, you will turn your stitch selector to a 5. And then for this one, we are not going to adjust anything on the length and width over here. We're just going to turn the stitch selector. One little tip for doing a zigzag is to go ahead and lower your needle. So my presser foot is up, but my needle is down. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide one of my raw edge sides up to, so it butts up against the needle. So it's not, the needle is not in the fabric, but instead it is next to it. I'm going to lower my presser foot. Then what happens is, if my hand were the fabric and this finger was the needle is right over here, and every time I stitch, it's gonna go on the fabric, then off, on, off, the whole way down the raw edge side. And I will do that down this raw edge, down this raw edge, and the other raw edge as well. I do not need to do the zigzag on the fold because it will not come unraveled. The reason you do a zigzag is to finish off the edge so that it stops the unravel. Alright, so we have that zigzag put in along all the raw edges. The next thing that you're going to do is follow the guideline on the written instructions. Now you're going to go to stitch 6. So we're going to turn the dial again to stitch 6, and I'm going to just be stitching horizontally across for this one. So I'm going to lower my needle, lower my presser foot, and do this decorative stitch. Okay, next we are going to turn to stitch 10, and all of these stitches use the same foot. That's why I selected them, so that we don't have to change out our presser foot each time. So for this one, I'm going to line up the edge of my foot. I'm about a 1/4 inch away from that last stitch. Drop my needle, drop the presser foot. Kind of a blanket stitch. Number 13 is next. Same thing, about a 1/4 inch away from the last one. Lower your needle, lower the presser foot. Okay, that's a similar stitch. It's another blanket, but smaller. Next is 17. Even the spacing out again. Lower the needle, lower the presser foot. And then the final sample is number 21. Okay, so once you're finished with all those different lines, then you're going to take some time to go trim up all of your threads before attaching this sample number 3 to your handout.